when it comes to freedom, I think a lot of people wake up and wait for stuff to happen instead of actually have a plan, like you said, to do the things that if they know they do them, it will turn into an actual referral, deal, closing, whatever you want to call it.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
One of the fastest ways to grow your business is by having the right referral partners. But how do you cultivate those relationships with the people who can send you consistent referrals? In this episode, we're talking with Scott Hudspeth, who founded Agent Mastermind specifically to teach loan officers how to form successful and long-lasting relationships with real estate agents. And today, Agent Mastermind is the #1 realtor growth system in the nation for loan officers and branch managers. Now, Scott's here today to share some secrets with us that have helped him build a successful business and profitable partnerships.
Scott, welcome back to Be Bold Branding.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. You guys are awesome. You're so much fun. So I need to get you back on my show for sure. So it's so fun.
We would love it.
I appreciate that. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back, my friend.
So, hey, let's get into a little bit of background about Scott. Give us a little bit of your background, professional, personal, however way you want to go about it. What brought you to do what you're doing today?
Well, so about 21 years ago, I don't know how, but I got into the mortgage business. Just like everybody else, I grew up not knowing what that meant, that a mortgage had 2 G's. And I'm like, all right, I'll try this. It sounds fun. And then fast forward 21 years, here we are. It's just been an amazing journey where I just, I hate to say this, but for fun, I do marketing. And it's just my thing. Like, that's what I eat, live, and breathe. And I love building stuff. I love building companies. I love helping people connect, engage, interact, step outside their comfort zone. So it's just, I don't know, it just gives me chills talking about it that I get to do this for a living on a daily basis. So it's pretty exciting.
Got to do what you love.
You do. And you can't get it out of your blood,
No, that's true.
And sometimes it's not such a good thing, if you're sitting watching television or something like that and you see these god-awful commercials, right? And you think, oh, who is doing that marketing, right? It's just dreadful. That's the bad side of it. The rest of it is 100% pure fun.
Well, Tanya ruined me about that. Like, she ruined me from watching TV. If it's a commercial in it and they're so horrific, like literally like 9.9%, 99% of them are just terrible. And now we've just sort of got a code word between each other, and somebody after a commercial is going to go, what? And we don't even have to talk about how bad the commercial was because we have no idea what they were selling.
Exactly. But marketing, to your point, should be a lot of fun.
So fun,
Yeah. And you have this awesome personality. It's just like every time you come on here and every time we engage with you, you just have this awesome energy. You're so positive and you just bring that. So one of the things we like to do is kind of dig a little bit more into the personal side of Scott here. Like, tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what brought this positive Scott to the surface.
Man, that's a good question. So I grew up in Michigan, which everybody knows Michigan. So beautiful state there. And I was thankful to have somebody out. Crazy story. And I hate to admit this, but I used to sell cars. I was a car salesman at first. So of course, somebody referred somebody into me that was in the mortgage business. She's like, hey, you would be so good at this. Like, you should do this. I'm like, okay. I was at that age where it's like, okay, let's do this, So here we are, thankfully, right when that happened, 9/11 had just hit, which, sad to say that hit. So nobody was buying cars. So it was a time where if I'm going to do something, nobody's doing anything. So let's just go venture out and see what is out there. So I had the opportunity to go work for somebody, and I've only been with 3 companies total my whole 22 years, which is pretty insane. But marketing has always been my thing, and I built Fresh Agent Marketing to help loan officers and real estate agents connect, engage, interact, have something of value for loan officers to talk about, but that truly helps agents on a weekly basis. We have weekly webinars, training webinars, which you guys have been on. We do, I added weekly coaching to it now, so we do open mic coaching calls with it now, which is really cool. So we having that grow big time. Weekly content, I've made some amazing relationships with people that provide content that just It's one thing to brand yourself and do what you guys do and that, but it's another way to use social media to connect, engage, interact, and stay top of mind, which I think so many people miss. And really, the whole thing that I've done is I've taken all the noise away and I've made it really basic. We have so many things coming at us, a million things every day. Webinar this, buy this, do this, that. But that's become the excitement. But there's no paycheck from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said, all right, I'm not going to do all this stuff. I'm going to go, all right, let's get back to the basics. Let's start sending emails again. Let's start connecting, engaging, interacting. Are you friends with people on Facebook? Are you liking, commenting on their stuff? Because that's where we get the shot of dopamine, the love drug, So, are you staying top of mind? And if not, let's just do that. The average person in sales doesn't need more people, more contacts. They already have enough people that know, like, and trust them. If we just remind those people who we are and what we do for a living and stay top of mind, we'll get more referrals from their friends, family, coworkers on a consistent basis, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always like to talk about the old Joe Girard. Joe Girard, his thing was the law of 250,
Yep.
And if you don't know Joe, he was the number one salesman in the world, Guinness Book of World Record. His thing was the law of 250. Every person he sold a car to, he said, all right, there's 250 more opportunities or 250 more loss of opportunity if I don't do it right, if I don't remind people who I am and what I do for a living. So I just took his analogy and I said, all right, I'm going to call it the law of 25. It's a little easier to comprehend. Everybody has 25 friends, family, coworkers that they can refer to you that are looking to buy or sell or invest in property, Airbnb, or second home. So that's just what fresh agent marketing is. And it's just every single week is so fun because I'm meeting people. The success stories from going back to the basics have been amazing. And I challenge people just send an email to remind your past database who you are and what you do for a living. And it's amazing that I get testimonials back like, okay, I'm first email, 2 conversations. I'm like, there you go. So I'm just trying to put the basics back into it and remove all the false marketing, lead this, lead that. I'm just not a believer in the, I've never been a lead guy. It's so much work. It's 400% easier to get a warm referral from somebody that knows, likes, and trusts you than it is to try to turn a cold into a warm. And then it just comes to follow up. So I guess the best way to say it is I always eat, live, and breathe the 4 parts to a sale, which are traffic. You got to have traffic.
Mm-hmm.
If you have people in your phone, everybody has contacts in their phone, you got to have traffic. You got to have conversion. The only way to convert is to follow up, and you have to ask for the business. So what I teach, eat, live, breathe is teaching people with fresh agent marketing how to do all 4 and complete all 4 on a regular basis with people that already know, like, and trust them. And it's amazing, the results.
I love it. There's a lot of great takeaways there, Scott, for the listeners, a lot. And it falls in line with personal branding. When you're doing that outreach to those people that already know you and your brand is stand out, it's going to be top of mind awareness. People are going to remember you better. And you're so right. Like I told Tanya, like I had this thought, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I just kept having this lingering thought, nurture what you have, nurture what you have, nurture what you have. And I couldn't shake this thought, like nurture what you have. And I think that's the thought. We all have so much opportunity just in our own repertoire that we just glaze over. We don't ever even go back and say, hey, man, how you doing? And anybody that, wants to buy a house or needs a loan or...
Agents sit around, I think they think that man, I haven't called them in 2 years. But here's the funny part. They're not sitting around going, man, I can't believe my mortgage guy hasn't called me in like 15 years. What a jerk. What a freaking jerk.
Yeah, they're not thinking that way.
Yeah.
They forgot about you a year and a half ago. Well, years ago, they forgot about you 2.5. They couldn't remember you if they had to. So,
yeah.
The cool part about, branding, and I took your guys' advice and just hanging around you guys and being a part of you guys as far as the brand. I don't know how I got so lucky, but fresh agent marketing is FAN, like FAN. So every time somebody joins, I'm like, welcome to the fam. But then,
love it.
Right?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. That's another one.
That's right.
So then I Googled, so this kind of bummed me out though. I got to be honest. I was a little depressed. So I Googled fam, like who owns fam.com. Guess who it is? Disney.
Oh, wow.
Well, I started to say it's a 3-letter one. So, I mean, they've been gone for like 40 years.
It seems like it,
Yeah.
for sure.
The only way I'm gonna own fan is if I buy Disney. So I'm probably gonna pass on that. So I'll figure out.
Yeah. It'd be a big monthly payment.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on, make it now. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to take this opportunity to segue for just a moment because one thing you mentioned there's a lot of noise out there. And oh my gosh, can we testify to that, right? It's crazy out there. And especially since the pandemic, everybody took their businesses online. They realized, hey, business didn't have to stop. We could just do it through Zoom. And then before you know it, we've all got so many Zoom meetings on our calendars. It's littered, right?
Mhm.
And then we have to really figure out, okay, where's the noise? What really matters? What really should we be doing? And where should we be spending our time? So, in addition to helping your loan officers develop those good relationships with realtors, I love what you say about helping them to build this proper work-life balance, put their phones away, their laptops away for vacation, right? And stop stressing about where the next loan is going to come from. Tell us a little bit about why you felt it's so important to focus on that, because that's not a normal thing to focus on when you're in the marketing world, but man, is it important.
Yeah, so I come up with what I call the magical number. And what I mean by the magical number is you have to have outbound, like, right, we're going after whether it's, and I always refer to it as phone calls. Like, how many phone calls do I have to make to have enough conversations to have a win? And, in that I learned, I was told my whole life growing up in sales that, hey, we're unemployed. Every single day we wake up unemployed. And I'm like, really? Like, come on. Like, if you're in sales, you wake up unemployed because you got to make another sale. I'm like, okay. But then I go, wait a minute. If I have enough calls and have enough conversations and I know what that number is that leads to a win, am I really unemployed?
Right. Because you got a plan.
But yeah, well, no, because if I go, all right, it's maybe 50 calls, 20 conversations, one win, and maybe 100 calls, 75 conversations, one, like whatever it is, there's a number. And the better you get and the more sharp your skills are at making the follow up and asking for the business and looking for moments of gratitude, like that magical number gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think a lot of people avoid that. They avoid doing the 2 hours of work. They just, you can make a lot of calls in 2 hours with the right systems, have a lot of conversations, send a text message. If you don't get the call, that triggers a conversation. So you can do a lot of things. So I think when it comes to freedom, I think a lot of people wake up and wait for stuff to happen instead of actually have a plan, like you said, to do the things that if they know they do them, it will turn into an actual referral, deal, closing, whatever you want to call it. So magical number is a big deal. And everybody can figure it out. Just some people's, everybody's number is different. You just got to figure it out and then spend time on that and not let stuff in your calendar take over,
It's really telling, Scott, that you're a prophet. You know what I mean? Because like you're putting this out there because we live in such a world that it just seems like constantly social media and build a huge social media following. If you had this giant group, then you nurture this giant group and this giant group feeds you all the time. And I love what you're saying. I have a meeting with my agents in the third quarter of every year, and we go over that. We reverse engineer the money they want to make for the next year.
Definitely.
And then I show them the formula very simply how you have to have X amount of calls, X amount of outreach to get X amount of conversations to get X amount of closings. And it, like you said, and you can start with these rough numbers, and then the more you do it, then you'll pare it down more and more and more and more.
The more predictable it becomes.
And it becomes a lot more predictable. And you're also, something we teach in personal branding, which is right up your alley, is that it's also you're learning the language of your ideal customer. Like Joe, what I got to put in here about Joe Garrard, my man Joe Garrard, right? If he'd come around in our era, what could he have done? He would have rivaled Tony Robbins. People don't realize that he was only in business, 6 years in the car business?
No social media, no nothing.
Nothing. And nobody broke his record till like 2017. Like it was crazy. This 13,000 units this guy sold. What makes it even better was he sold most of those as V8s in the middle of an oil crisis. So every mortgage broker or real estate agent is going, wait just a minute, this interest rates are going to kill us. It's a death of real estate in America. Oh my God, we got to find something else to do. All you got to do is say Joe Garrard, man. Joe Garrard. He didn't get out of the car business in the oil crunch. He got in it.
I want to share with you guys, and you need to include this in your third quarter, and I'll be more than happy to have it there. So here's what I learned. Okay. So the one reason most people don't do the calls, right? Like, is fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, all that stuff. So I learned this from who did I learn this from? I don't know, it was Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, or I don't remember. But he said, you can't be like, how to never be rejected. You ready for this? Is to have zero expectation of anything in return when you make the phone call. People can smell desperation from a mile away. So if I got on this podcast, like I want nothing. When I call a borrower, I want nothing. When I call a loan officer, I want nothing. Just to help lead, leave them in a better place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to, whether we work together or not, I want to try some way, shape, or form to lead them in a better place. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, sometimes I see it, sometimes they don't, right? So, but in zero expectation, I don't get rejected. So I don't walk away at the end of the day, like beat up, right? Because I'm never rejected. I just get on the call and have a conversation, figure out where they're at, where they want to be, what's keeping them from getting there, what's the one thing they need to do to make it happen, how much are they doing it, talk to them about the magical number, talk to them about branding, talk to them about how many calls you're making, not enough ever. Like,
right.
How many times you get on the call? Like, I was like, I made 100 calls today. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, then you're good. What was the conversion? Because I love people to go, oh, we do that. Okay, cool. How's that working for you?
Yep.
So you can use that conversation to help people. I always say, like, the 4 parts to a sale, where's the bottleneck? Is it traffic, convert, follow up, or call to action, or is it all 4? So, but I don't have any I can't stress that enough. And this is going to be hard for people to get, like, by calling your database and having zero expectation of anything in return, you never get rejected. So you have no fear of making the call.
Right.
But if you don't make the call, you have a zero chance for them to refer you almost all the time. Right.
Right.
So pretty deep there. Like,
that's deep stuff, man. Great mindset change. And it's true. Like, if you just go into it, I'm going to make a contact. Worst case scenario, I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to know somebody else that knows me. Right. It's very easy for us to sit on the couch and not make any calls and to say, I'm just going to have a bunch of calls. And the truth of the matter is, it's in the doing, like you said, and it's in the doing. And then you refine it, you get a little bit better, and not taking it personally rejectable. Our friend, Dr. Amanda Barrientos, she says that. She's like, the people are afraid a lot of times because they think they failed at something, or they think that they're personally rejected because the person doesn't need the service at this particular time, or they're not looking to do that right now. Doesn't mean it won't be tomorrow or the next day or a year from now.
They're not saying no to you, they're saying no to your offer.
Yeah, it's just, I don't need your offer. Okay.
I don't need a mortgage right now. Okay, I don't want to buy a house right now. Okay.
So, yeah. And then go find somebody to do it.
Yeah, talk family, recreation, that covers the family. Yes. Any big plan, like, just have I have a 3-minute egg timer. I'm like 3-minute egg timer, 3 minutes, like in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, just talk fraud. Hey, let them know what's happening, talk about the market. Talk about the family, talk about fun, this little bitty things. I mean, you can have those all day long. And like, how many times have you guys, I know I have, everybody can relate to this. You go on vacation, you get to the airport, and most of the time before you get to the airport, you're having a conversation about real estate with somebody. Then you get on the plane, you sit with somebody on the plane, you have a conversation about real estate. You know what I mean? You get to where you're going and you find somebody that's back from the US or wherever probably like another conversation, like, so that's how easy it is. Just, there's 300 people in your phone. There's this app that I want to share with everybody. And you need to share with your team, export contacts by Covey, COVVE. It automatically, so most good salespeople are detail oriented. Okay.
Right.
We're just not. It's in our DNA. Like, we're a high, like a disc profile, right? High D, high, like SC, just out the, just get it. I don't want a list. I have nothing that I can write with on my desk, right? I'm holding up paper because I had to sign something on it, but like, I have no paper. Like, I don't make lists. I just either do it or I don't. So what I'm saying is, if I don't even know where I was going, but if like
Covey. Yeah, the contact.
Covey, so like what it does is it pulls all the contacts off your phone and allows you to export all of them to your email. So now you have and the cool part is they didn't get in your phone by calling you or you calling out. They got in there because you took time to save. And like
Right.
that right there has led to more buy sides and sell sides of anything that anybody ever talked, because those people know.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Across your name in my phone, just want to call and wish you happy New Year. How are things going? Or hey, it's happy whatever, happy February. Like it
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, and you got really good opportunities to call people, especially if you haven't talked to them in a while, right? Just, hey, how you doing? Type of thing. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's Michael, right? And then you got Valentine's Day coming up. You got spring break coming up. You got Easter season, or you're traveling. What you doing? Like, you got a lot of reasons that you could be just checking in on somebody that ends up leading to a conversation. And wouldn't you be surprised, Scott, how many times what your people are doing that in your program, and they say, yeah, I called this guy today. He's like, man, I was thinking about you. Because that happens all the time too.
Or, oh man, we just bought a house, man. You're a month too late.
Yeah.
Happened.
Should have started 3 months ago. You've been working with them, right? Yeah. The other day I thought about this buddy of mine that I hadn't talked to in 3 years. And I was like, Todd Ford. I said, I wonder what Todd Ford's doing. And 2 days later, I saw Todd Ford. And I'm like, dude, I was just thinking about you. And then like 2 days after that, he called me because a mutual friend of ours had sold his business for $40 million. And he's like, isn't that great? Rick sold us. I'm like, and so, but it all just sort of, the universe has sort of brought us together with that. I was already thinking about him. And then, you know what I mean? It just sort of, it works like that more times than people can ever imagine.
It's too easy. So yeah, get over the fear of rejection, fear of failure, remove the expectation, just have a conversation. If you have to remind people who you are and what you do for a living, you know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't be remembered if you're not there.
Just living their normal lives. It's not like don't take it personal. They got their family, they got the kids, they got the dogs, they got the work, they got stuff. Like, right? We're not. Where's my mortgage guy, man? Just get over that. Where's my agent? I mean, they did this study. You guys know about this study where they did a mailing. Like they walked this neighborhood, and they walked the neighborhood and knocked on doors, and they're like, hey, if you were to sell your home, what would you use? And they're like, yeah, half the neighborhood, like 90% of the neighborhood didn't have a name, right? Started this mailer for 8 weeks, 2 months. Go back every week, boom, boom, boom. Made up a fake agent, fake. Went back 8 weeks later and said, hey, what you guys use? Guess what they all said?
The fake agent.
Top of mind.
Top of mind.
It absolutely is.
Top of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a great segue, because I was going to ask you, like, what would be the best piece of advice or one piece of advice that you would give people about personal branding?
I think one is to make sure, like, man, this is a big one. Like, one, if people, like, and I tell agents this, have you ever searched your name on Google?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Well, come up 4 different companies, or a company you're not with that, every day I'm like, hey, are you still with? No, man, I got to change that. You know, and right. Make sure that if somebody Googles your name, they want to know who you are and what you do for a living, especially if you're playing around on social media. If you don't, and make it super easy for people to contact you,
mm-hmm.
right? If they go to your website, can they call you? Or they gotta click? If they gotta click, they're not doing it. Like, you have to make it visible. If they go to your Facebook page, does it say who you are and who you work with? 90% of the time, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Exactly.
Do you have a professional, like what they say? I mean, with phones, so much information now. If you don't have a brand or like a professional looking type, and you're not interactive on social media, like NAR, I think it was a NAR stat that said that it was in the 60% range. They'd rather work with somebody that does video marketing over somebody that doesn't. So you go, okay, well, maybe video, maybe not. But if they Google you or they go to your Facebook page and there hasn't been a post for 2 years, oh, she's out of business.
Yep.
No, right?
Yep.
No header. Like that here, like, or they go to a professional one like you guys create, and you like professional header. There's constant post about real estate. Man, this person tons of views, tons of likes.
This instant credibility.
It's incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it is. There's a connection there. And as Michael says, you can't calculate the cost of confusion, because if they get there and they see, well, I think she sells real estate, but she hasn't posted anything in a while, and her cover photo still shows her family reunion from 2 years ago. Well, there's a problem. There's a
Yeah.
confusion factor there that you cannot calculate.
Yes.
All right. So, Scott, we ask all of our guests this question. If they have the freedom to visit anywhere in the world, which place would you recommend them to visit and why?
Man, I got two of them. Can I give you two?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So Ireland is amazing. It's just a cool place, cool pubs, amazing people, countryside, the goats and the sheep and all the cool stuff. So you have to go there. And then Italy was pretty off the hook. There's so many amazing, cool places like, oh my God, the Amalfi Coast and just all these amazing. I wasn't a fan of the Amalfi Coast as I thought it would be, but just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But those two places are probably my two top. Alaska's not bad. I could go on. Alaska's not bad either. Alaskan cruise, that's pretty dope. So yeah, I don't know, Ireland, man. There's just something about Ireland that was I don't know. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, all of those places you mentioned are fantastic. I went to Ireland years ago. It's been about 10 years now back, and absolutely loved it. I mean, loved it. Loved the people, loved everything about it. Gorgeous place.
Yeah, it's just old school. There's no keeping up with the Joneses. Like people just in the pubs, just partying and just who cares?
Just living.
Do that. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just, I was like, man, if I could take a piece of this back to the U.S., like this is what I would take, is how these people act and the demeanor and the vibe that they had. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, what's the best place for people to learn more about you and about Fresh Agent Marketing?
Yeah, so I think Fresh Agent Marketing is free for all agents, and LOs can go there too. So they go there, just click join, and check out all the content. Join our classes on Tuesday. Join our coaching call open mic on Wednesdays. I made it free for a reason, just so people could come in and have a place to go to get fresh agent stuff for their. And we're always up to date. I'm always meeting new people. I'm always having new speakers on. New things are always happening, but I'm keeping it current. The stuff that's working for in today's marketplace, where I think a lot of people talk about old school. And I'm so tired of hearing about these leads stuff that's like Facebook leads and Google leads and this and that. So I think I like I don't know. I keep it basic. If you don't like basic and you're looking for that shiny whistle, that's probably not me. But if you want to make a lot of money, then that's me, so join Fresh Agent Marketing. I think you'll really enjoy not only the culture, the vibe, the content, the people. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I would encourage everybody to do that. Reach out to Scott. We happen to know him. He's a friend. He's got fantastic advice, and you'll get a lot of value there. So freshagentmarketing.com.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.